Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's literacy lesson. So this week we've been looking at a different type of poetry, and we've been looking mainly at tongue twisters, haven't we? So today, we finished that yesterday, so today I thought it would be really fun and a good idea to do some performance poetry as our task. So let's get going. What is poetry? So we know that poetry is a style of reading and writing. We've written lots of poems before, we've written rhyming poems, we've now written tongue twisters, so we're doing well. It's imaginative writing and it can be written by anybody. So we know it's imaginative because we had to really think about the words and nouns and verbs that we wanted to use in our poems, and we were actually writing kind of nonsense and silly poems this week, weren't we? People choose to write poetry about many different things. It is a way to express, that means to show, thoughts and feelings about something in a creative way. So it might be that you decide to write a poem about how you're feeling today, or you could write a poem about the weather outside. Basically, anything in the whole entire world and any thoughts you have are something that a poem could be written about. Poetry tries to connect with the reader so they understand the writer's thoughts and feelings. So that is meaning that when you read a poem, you understand. It's kind of similar to a story, but obviously they're shorter mostly, so that you know how they were feeling when they wrote it. They can be written in different ways, short or long, sad or fun. They can be real or imaginary, structured or unstructured. That means our tongue twisters were unstructured. They could be all different sentences, whereas our rhyming couplets were structured because every 2 sentences had to have a rhyming couplet. They may rhyme or they may not. The writer has the freedom to write in any way they feel will best express their thoughts and feelings. So basically, you are in charge when you write a poem. It's completely up to you and how you feel you would best like to write it. So what is performance poetry? So performance poetry brings the poetry words to life through actions. Poetry can be performed anywhere. Can you think of any places? So where could you perform your poetry? We've actually done a bit of performance poetry before, haven't we? Okay, so let's see where there is. So you could do it in a bedroom. You could do it on the playground, which we have done before. Oh, you could do it on a stage. That's like when we do our performances, when times are a bit more normal. We have the stage out, don't we? And it can also be done in a garden. So basically, anywhere. How do you perform poetry? So when performing poetry, the reader will play with the words. It's fun to experiment with the words and make the poem come to life. So what that means is you don't just read it in one voice, you read it in different voices. You can be loud, you can be quiet, you can whisper. You may read some words loudly in a booming voice. You could read some words quietly, whispering softly. You may read a poem quickly racing through the words. You could read the poem slowly, taking your time with every word. What about mixing it up? Sometimes you might perform using different styles, so you might be loud in some parts, quiet in others, say some parts quickly and some parts slowly. The tone of the poem. So this is asking, is it a happy poem? Is it a sad poem? Is it an angry poem? Is it a confusing poem? Is it a tense poem? That means, are we on the edge of our seats? Are we like, oh, what's going to happen next? Is it an exciting poem? When the emotion of the poem has been chosen, it makes the poem easier to understand. And that's because the reader knows how the writer's feeling. So you know what they're trying to say and how they would say it. So that's what you then do. Characters in the poem. Some poems are read as a character. How would that character sound using your voice? The character might be a monster. How would the monster sound? The character might be a fairy. How would the fairy sound? And actions, this is the main part. This is the part I feel that really shows off poems. You can use your body to perform poems. Standing, you can stand up in a huge place, in a tight space, in a small space. You can be sitting on a chair. You could pretend you're sat on a dinosaur or on a roller coaster. You could be laying down looking at the stars or the clouds. Actions. You can use your body to tell the poem, and this helps the listener to see the world you're creating. So using simple actions such as if you're whisking to make a huge cake, this gets exciting. You know, if there's jumping, you can jump up and down. If there's flying, you can pretend to fly. Actions can be simple and they can be small, so you haven't got to get anything necessarily. You just use your body, so you can just do small things with your hands or your legs. Imagine acting some of the actions out as part of your performance poetry. Leaping over a rock, sniffing a bone, licking the thick chocolate off the spoon, creeping past a hungry wolf. Okay, so I have shared 2 nursery rhymes for you guys to perform. So first of all, we have Jack and Jill. You probably know it. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill come tumbling after. There's the first one. The second one is Hey Diddle Diddle. Hey Diddle Diddle, the cat and the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such fun, and the dish ran away with the spoon. So these are the poems that I've given you that you could perform at home. You can perform them however you like. You can change them, use your body, use booming voices, quiet voices, read it fast, read it slowly. Any way that you think best would make for a good performance, and that people would enjoy watching them and would understand what's happening. Okay, when you complete this task, guys, if you just want to click turn in, because obviously we can't see you do this, so if you just click turn in for us on your literacy, that's absolutely fine. Then we know that you've done it, and that is more than enough. We trust that you have performed these at home. So we hope you have fun. If you want to extend yourselves, you may already know a poem or a nursery rhyme, and you might want to perform that also. Okay, so we hope you have a lovely time, guys, and enjoy.